All right, we are live. What's going on, Mr. Daniel? How are you doing today?
Doing great, brother. How you? How was you? How was your Friday?
It was actually a great from Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I got 3 games in this week, so
Hey, there we go.
you got to do what you got to do, and it's just getting out there and kind of checking out what's going on in our community and so on. We're going to kind of sit and wait for a couple people to join on. Hey, what's up, everybody? We are going to go over the what we're doing is we're going to recap um, some of the games that actually had a big impact for the week. So who's helped out the regions, what games, and it might shock you on some of them. You guys might be all sitting here going like, yes, obviously, as we have posted. One of the big ones that is going to help the region is going to be the South Point Marana game. That's going to hurt obviously the 6A Central, but it's going to help out the 5A Southern. We're going to go over a couple of these ones that actually had impacts to the regions to help them out on a positive way. Now, mind you, one of the positive way will come from one of the teams that we're covering in a region. So typically, for example, if the region benefited and it wasn't one of our teams, we're not really going to worry about that one, like or stuff like that. We're going to focus more on the regions that Daniel and also myself cover. So this will be the regions that most of the people in the Tucson market are familiar with, as well as the Pinal counties ones that he covers. So we'll do that. Kind of get up over here and talk about some of these games. Also, if you guys see in the middle the percentage pie, what that is, the graph pie, I should say. The graph pie is actually your guys' votes. So you'll see that when we're starting to do these shows, that your guys' votes actually count. We're going to use you guys as like, hey, look, did you pick right or did you pick wrong? Did we pick right? Did we pick wrong? I mean, might as well. This is all the stuff that we kind of do. Feel free to post up in the comment sections if you guys have a game that you'd like to bring to our attention that maybe we can just like briefly brush on. And we'll definitely do that. But we are trying to get through these, and we had how many of them that we're going to touch real quick? That were
I want to say 13,
13 or 14, something like that, right? So 14 games, like
14
so.
games. Yep.
14 games that played an impactful role towards our region. So y'all need to focus on that. These non-region games are super important. That's where you're going to get a lot of the opportunities, mind you. And I'm going to try and explain this to you guys as you can, just off of this pitch right here, Amphi Maryville. I will say this, Roman. Amphi was predicted to win that game, so you're probably not going to hear me talk about that one that much. But it was great to see Amphi come out with a W and start off. Um,
Mhm.
what you're going to see here is obviously on each side. The blue side is obviously going to match the pie graph for you guys. So I kind of color coded it to so which team you guys were picking. Um, what you're going to see is underneath like South Point where it says ranked 12th. That's what they were currently ranked going in as of on the 27th from Max Preps. They were ranked 12th in the state. And what I have is as you add up all those points, you'll have the strength of schedule. Sometimes this is misleading. Just want to let you guys know that because, for example, Bishop Alameda, they canceled. So there's no points there. And also you'll get this with a lot of teams that travel out of state. There won't be any points there. So sometimes that can play an impactful role on the strength of schedule and where they are. I divide things up into 3 different categories. Green will be the top tier of their division. Yellow will be the middle tier of their division. And then you'll get red, which will be the bottom tier of their division. So,
Mhm.
and that is broken down into all their divisions. So, for example, South Point's currently ranked middle of their division at number 12. Their strength of schedule is middle of their division's strength of schedules as a whole. So that's where they're falling. That's how I break it down. If you guys have questions, please ask. Um, this is a way to kind of look how where teams are. It's one thing to just say, oh yeah, they play 6A. It's another to kind of know where these teams actually fall into this system of like divided amongst the three tiers that I'm talking about. How you doing, Daniel?
I'm doing great. I'm just listening and learning along the way. So,
Yeah, so I'm guys, I break this down all the time. This is something that I talk about is our strength of schedules. I talk about that all the time. also talk about, for instance, the rankings.
Mhm.
And I believe firmly in there's a 3-tier thing, which all impacts right now your regions, and that's a whole nother topic that we could get into and talk about as well. But we're going to jump right in since we already got our viewers kind of coming in here. We're going to start with the first game, which was a big shocker, obviously, out here in the Marana area. Daniel, as you know,
Yeah.
South Point versus Marana. What do you think? What did you think of the game? What did you hear? Anything?
Oh, well, it was what from what I heard, because we were out broadcasting a game of our own, is that it was kind of a comeback for Marana, especially I think at the end of the third quarter it was like 17-24, or halftime it was 17-9, if I'm
Right.
or 14-9. Sorry, excuse me. But yeah, I mean a big comeback for Marana. Obviously, I didn't have it going in favor of Marana. I think Rodney was the only
Rodney
one,
Day, as he
and I
just
know
chimes
he's a
in.
oh, yeah, see, there he is. I know it would only taken a minute, but, yeah, it was a big game, especially one of the big things I saw, Colton Meyer, the quarterback, attempted 54 passes and threw for 264, so that's what you're probably gonna try to have to do in order to contain Marana is, can you stop their aerial attack? And I think if you look at, the defensive side, 6 sacks on the night for Marana definitely impacts a lot of things, so
Right.
especially that second half.
Well, and I think here too, one thing that like we have to sit there and go, we have a dominant pick. Obviously, even our poll picked South Point to win this game, 75 percent to 24. I think what you got to look at is this: is that and I had somebody say this on one of the posts, is that they had mentioned, um, it was a lucky play. A lucky play is how Marana won. Unfortunately, the way when it comes down to South Point and the way our community perceives South Point is that South Point's held to a higher standard than most of us.
Yep.
Um, and rightfully so. They've done well over the years, and unfortunately, you can't really get away with just saying it was one good play. In this situation, obviously South Point comes in, like I'd mentioned, ranked 12th in the state, Marana 27th. Um, what that's going to be is Marana shouldn't have been that close in the first place if
Mhm.
that's the case. So this was I've heard things about fouls. I heard things about you know just you know just lack of discipline on the South Point side to put them in that position too. Hopefully they'll get some of those bugs out of the way as their season comes. But I also had mentioned this: if you're looking at South Point's strength of schedule, they didn't need this on their schedule. They didn't need this blemish that they just took because, mind you, they only had 9 games in the first place. So now a game like this is going to put them at the later part. Now, do I feel it's going to be difficult for South Point to make it to the playoffs? No. 6A tends to have um, they tend to get a lot of teams. Pretty much only 7 don't make it out of their division to the playoff games. But
Yeah.
to be on the back side of, for example, the 16 bracket could be the difference between playing 1 game or 2 games, depending on the situation. So it's important to win as much as you can and get on the upper 8 rather than the lower 8 when it comes to the bracket. Um, does this hurt the 6A Central?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, I think this whole weekend hurt the 6A Central, as we'll go over some of these other games. But this does actually help when you look over on the other side, the Marana side with their bracket with the 5A Southern. So there's a lot of good things that happened, but this did kind of put a little punch into the packet there for South Point. Uh, with a
Yeah.
loss,
Mm, go ahead.
is this a hit the panic
Hit the
button
panic
for the
button.
rest of this? No, it's not a hit the panic button. I mean, I think what it is just you got to tighten down the hatches. You got to win something where I would love to see them. Uh, as we're looking at this, once again, what we do is we typically will look at the ranking. They're ranked number 12. So Shadow Ridge will, first of all, they get a bye. Shadow Ridge should be a win for them.
Mhm.
Desert Vista, that should be a win. Hopefully, Corona del Sol should be a win. I think where you're looking at here, they got to maybe win something unexpectedly amongst the Centennial, Liberty, Saguaro, and Brophy. Uh,
Mhm.
maybe Saguaro might be the place to go on that. Not sure, but they definitely gotta turn something around. They gotta get that team discipline. There's not much room to mess up now. So that would be the one thing on this
Definitely
one.
not.
Anything you wanted to add on that?
No, I mean, if you look at a game that could possibly put them, like pretty much erase this blemish, which game do you think that would have to be?
I think like I just said, I'd go with the Saguaro game. I mean, I
And it's
don't
still that's a big possibility too.
right. I
I think
really
that's
just I mean, and maybe Brophy if they can get the Brophy game. I think Liberty and Centennial are just like too much, too
Mhm.
much to try to digest. But on the other side of things, I mean, it's looking good for Marana. I mean, obviously that picked up. Where did a lot of us have Marana picked? Do you recall that? I know
Like
like
as
our
far as
predictions.
the
Yeah,
as far as what the
our predictions
overall.
kind of thing. Yeah.
I think we had them winning the region, but I think
Mhm.
this was their one of their losses, and I think this was their only loss that we possibly had them losing.
What's funny is that me and you, right? We had Moreno losing this. Rodney had him winning, which he'll consistently remind us that he
Yeah.
did. Um, and the other one is Higley. So
Oh, Higley. There
me
you
and
go.
you had Miranda going 8-2. Rodney has him going 9-1, which still could be the case. Rodney could still be dead on. I mean, obviously we could still be dead on too if they no, we probably won't be. Me
Well,
and
I
you are
mean,
both looking at
I'd say never because kind of the situation that South Point finds them in is what the 5A Southern found themselves in last year, playing the 4A.
right,
What was the
exactly.
4A? Is it the Gila? No, not the Gila.
It was the for Aquino.
Keno. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you're absolutely right, which we're going to go ahead and touch on the next game that we had on here, which is going to be the Corona del Sol versus Casa Grande game. This was another big game for the Southern Arizona when it comes to, yeah, I see your glare come popping back up.
Yeah, trying to get it out of the way,
I
but
know you're good,
there we
bro.
go.
It's good. We got the Casa Grande game. How this helps out once again, this was the number 2 shot at the 6A Central. You got, 5A Southern once again shooting out at the 6A Central. You have ranked 39, which they are on the lower strength of schedule when
Mhm.
lower ranking, I should say, when it comes to 6A. Um, but then you have Casa Grande coming in at 77. You can see that big kind of gap popping up in there. Um, but once again, you're gonna see a real boost here, I think, after Max Prep's rankings come out. Um, what is it? Probably like Monday or Tuesday. I'll be posting like
Yeah.
the rankings and so on when they come back out. And I guarantee you guys, what you're going to see is with Casa Grande, with Marana, and the next one that we'll be talking about, all boosting that region is going to help
Mhm.
out a lot. Um, I think even with Bueno, who won their game and so on. There wasn't anybody really losing in the 5A Southern this week, except Desert View was the only one that did. To the best, no, and Sunnyside.
Uh, in
Sunnyside did?
Sunnyside, yeah,
Yeah, Desert View.
to, to Apollo.
Right, right. Um, Once again here, uh, this is going to hurt Corona del Sol a lot because this was one of their ones that they needed to pick up.
Mhm.
Was against Casa Grande. As you can see, their strength of schedule at 217 is one of the tougher schedules through 6A football. So losing this one, their strength of schedule will probably go up, but unfortunately, their ranking is going to go down.
Mhm.
Over on the other side, obviously, we see how this is going to probably benefit us. There's really not going to be a lot of hiccups going on until maybe Micah Mountain, with Casa.
I'd
I
say
mean, Casa.
the stretch from Micah Mountain to Marana, those 3 games are gonna be what's the most impactful,
Right.
for Casa Grande, but, I mean, given what they
I
did
would
this
throw in
weekend.
that Cienega game could be interesting too, only because they had success this week too. So it'd
Oh,
be
well, that'd
interesting
be
to see.
I just meant that little, like,
Right,
where
right.
you start
Uh,
seeing a little bit
So
of
I mean,
possibilities of being upsetted.
so definitely some interesting stuff going with Casa Grande. I think you could see them kind of trending high, obviously after this one as well. It's going to benefit them,
Mhm.
and you'll see. I think with some of these other games that they're going to have, their division helping them, their strength of schedule will go up too.
Yeah.
So that whole region's going to go up. It's going to be a good thing. Um, Anything else you wanted to say on this one? With anybody stand it out that you feel, or and what was the final score on that? Do you know?
So that one was 52-44. It kind of ended later than expected, just due to some
Fun stuff,
unforeseen circumstances in the stand.
right? Yeah. So you kind of muted out on
Yeah.
that. Okay,
Oh,
gotcha.
sorry about
No,
that.
you
But
good.
yeah, just it ended up ending later. But I think Casa Grande already had like a 14-point lead with so much time left in the fourth quarter. I think if you look at it on paper, the biggest question mark they had coming in was at quarterback. And
Right.
obviously, we don't have any stats inputted. We know it's not gonna be something that's right away a couple days after the game ends. But um, I think when you go back and look at it, I want to say that their quarterback threw for 350 plus yards, if I'm not mistaken.
Very cool.
So that was one of the big things I had as far as circling things around Casa Grande is how were they going to replace Fatty Gant, who ended up transferring to Vista Grande, and it seems like they put up a lot of points. So that really answered my question there.
Perfect. And this is good for once again the 5A Southern. Glad to see that happen for them. The next one that we had is also the Cienega, another one that's going to help out. It's going to hurt the 6A Central, but it's going to help the 5A South or Southern. Is this game here? When you get into, and I'm switching over on certain things here as well. When you get into the Desert Vista game as well as the Cienega game, you see once again here you have ranked 93 Cienega beating ranked 55th Desert Vista. This is going to be good when it comes out with the rankings again.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I'm telling you right now, this is the time that you want to be hot. When you get into region play, you're pretty much beating up your friends. It's like, hey,
Mhm.
look, you're not going to change much on a region strength. So you're when you're looking at that, your rankings probably aren't going to change nearly as much as the non-region games. So it's really important right now in the non-region games to be putting it down. Actually, that's the best time to do it.
Right.
Um, on here as we look predicted wise, I see a lot of the people. We had 52% of our voters on our poll pick Cienega to win. 47 of them predicted Desert Vista to go. Typically what that tells me is we had some Tucson native homers that don't know much about Desert Vista as they were ranked obviously higher. You probably tend to see that
I
trend.
think I took Desert Vista as well. I ain't
I
gonna
think we all did.
Yeah.
So this is one of those games that me, Rodney, and also Daniel, we got to eat our crow, and that's just the way it goes. We picked it wrong, and hey, I'm not afraid to admit it. Actually, like sometimes I often say, I'd rather be wrong for a good win than be right for a bad day. Just that kind of thing.
Definitely.
So, and I'm flipping here between two different screens, man. It's driving me nutty. Um, So the next game coming up here, this was actually another 5A, but on the Sonoran side.
Yeah.
Whereas the upset becomes ranked 142nd, Flowing Wells knocks out Agua Fria 136. This is huge for Sonoran region.
Hmm.
Just like we were kind of trending on the discussion of all the other ones, it's going to help when your strength of schedule or when your guys' ranks guys are winning and they beat these games like this one, for example. What's going to happen is Flowing Wells is going to kind of, and I know you guys aren't even seeing my hands here. Flowing Wells is going to kind of push the strength of schedule and the ranking of the region up. So, and
Hmm.
that's why it's important that games like this matter. um, Typically what you want in a region is you want every game your fellow people in your region each week, non-region wise, to win. Just go out and win. Everything win. Because then when you come back, like I've mentioned, your region level is going to be pushed up, which is going to help you get more opportunities to make it to the playoffs. And that's why it's important that you get the rankings of your region up, because that's going to increase, obviously, the ranking of all the teams that are in that region. So that, and then, like I said, once you get into region play, we just beat each other up. So, so this is a crucial time. Like, I know, like, a lot of people don't really get the explanation on this, but I think also here a lot of people on this voting poll didn't really know what they were voting for with Agua Fria. You would have probably seen a little bit more on it, but it's good to see our community supporting Flowing Wells, coming out, giving them 53 over the 46%. Anybody want to add or anything on this one?
For me, it was a big shocker, especially a 41-0 victory. Wasn't sure
dominantly.
I wasn't sure what we were going to get out of Flowing Wells to kind of start things off. I know that they've always kind of ended up at the bottom of their region, but at the same time, it's kind of like, now does that make things interesting if they're able to, pick up a few more wins along the way before region play happens?
Right. Who could you see? Let me throw that at you, just because you love throwing it at me. Who could you actually see maybe an extra game going in here now that we kind of see this?
You know what? I'm interested to see now if they can make it 2-for-2 over Maricopa. I know they beat Maricopa last year at the end of the season, so I'm wondering if that could still put them in, that talks of possibly winning the 5A Sonoran. We're going to see. Outside of that, I mean, I think that they have a good chance against Sahuarita, Barry Goldwater, and that's going to already put them at 4 wins if they are able to pick up those 3.
Right.
I don't think I had them going 4-6 at the end of the year if I look it up real quick. So for Flowing Wells, I had them going 2-8.
Right.
With you and Rodney having them go 3-7. So they're already ahead of the curve in the opening week.
Because I think our wins that we were giving them was the Sahuarita game, the Nogales game, and
Barry Goldwater, maybe.
Was it? I don't remember.
Let's see. That
you said we have them going 3.
Sahuarita, Nogales, and then you and Rodney picked them to beat Maricopa again. So that would have been the third one.
Okay, Sahuarita, Nogales, and Maricopa. You know what, dude? I'll say this. Shocker for next week, or actually this week coming up. I'm curious, and I'm not going to pick Flowing Wells over Sunnyside, but I'm going to pick it to be a better game.
Yeah.
A better game than maybe what we thought.
Well, and I know that they're not on our list, but how about them only losing to Apollo by 7 points?
I mean, and that's killer too. Apollo's a solid program, guys. I mean, and actually, even that loss might help this region.
Yeah.
I mean, it could actually do that, which it'd be shocking. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, but I could see that this region's rankings are going to go up. I mean, obviously, Tucson High won their game this week. It wasn't a shocker that Nogales lost the Pueblo game. That was kind of predicted.
I think it was more of a shocker for you that Pueblo didn't win in like a dominating fashion like Flowing Wells did.
Right. Actually, I expected, exactly. I expected a more dominant performance by Pueblo, but it was great to kind of see the whole culture of Pueblo while I was out there. But it was hot too, so that could have played a factor. I'm not even playing. Guys, it was hot. Huh?
What time was the game?
The game was at 10 a.m.
Yeah, I was out there. I know how hot it was. We were at my son's game that day.
I salute all youth football parents again. I know it's been a long time for me to be there. Good God, that was hell. But it was a great showing, as always, with Pueblo out there. Mountain View's game, I know we're not going to talk about that one really that much either, but I'll touch on it. As a part of that region, they won, so that could help that region out as well. Ironwood Ridge, once again, they won their game, which wasn't a shocker to the prediction. It was supposed to be that way. But good game.
Go into the 6A or to the 4As.
We got one more.
No, we got one more in the 5s.
Yeah, we do. And this is another one that's well, actually, you know
There's two
what?
4As. But no, I was gonna ask you. So now, being that there's been some upsets in specifically the both 5A regions,
Right.
do you think that there could possibly, if things keep trending the way they are, especially the 5A Southern region, with only two teams losing in there, where they might get more teams in the playoffs?
I think what really has to happen is I think what you got to see is the regions that typically dominate 5A
Hmm.
have to start falling off. It's really hard to get into that. And hold on real quick. I'll let me kind of pull this up while because you're kind of throwing me a little quick curveball, which I appreciate though. Um, hold on real quick. And everybody, if you're out there and you're kind of checking out the show and stuff like that, do me a favor. If you have a question, drop it. You know, hey, look. So, what do you think of this, or what do you think of that, kind of thing? Um, the thing that I was gonna try and get to here, let's see here. Where's my breakdowns? So when you look at the 5A division, right? That
Hmm.
5A Northeast Valley with Higley, Horizon, Desert Mountain, all those big power hitters, as well as the 5A Desert West with Desert Edge, Cactus, so on and so on. Those two regions are dominant in 5A football. Typically, what you're looking at is almost 12 of the slots for the 16 game playoffs are is almost dedicated to them. They're the
Hmm.
strongest two regions in 5A, like I had mentioned. So that only leaves 4 windows. So what you really want to kind of do is, for example, you want to kind of start picking at them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as you're picking at them, you kind of want to start taking a team down or taking a team down. You have to get your rankings up there. Miranda's obviously already kind of predicted to kind of go at this point. Apollo was another one that's kind of predicted in the top 16. So it was good to see Sunnyside kind of, really playing them well. Wish we would have caught that win because that would have helped a lot.
Right.
But you got teams like Campo Verde, you got to help bring down. And that's attacking those teams inside those regions. For example, I know Cienega's got a McClintock game coming up. You got to win that game, and that is going to help out a lot. Um, it's when you're playing those stronger strength of schedules,
Hmm.
pushing those teams down is what's going to open up more windows and opportunities for teams in those regions, if that makes sense.
Correct. Yeah.
Gotcha. Anybody dropping any knowledge on us? Thanks, Rodney, for believing in your voice. Right on, right on, Mike Evans. Go ahead, feed into it. I ain't got no problem with that. There you go. Blow his head up some more. Damn it. Um, good stuff,
We'll
man.
take that one on the chin, though.
Right. So on this one here, for us Southern homers such as myself, this wasn't a good one, but it did help out Daniels Pinal County. The Combs versus the Catalina Foothills. Combs comes in ranked 128th, losing to the 90 ranked Catalina Foothills. This did a lot for Combs
Hmm.
because they weren't picked to do very well this season. I think once again, like you see, they're middle of the pack on both their rankings as well as their strength of schedule. Whereas over on the other side of this, Catalina Foothills was ranked middle of the pack when it comes to ranking, but their strength of schedule was better. So what you might see here is you might see no, where would you go with that? Like maybe an increase of strength of schedule, obviously, because Combs is going to probably, but yeah, once again, you're going to see an increase of strength of schedule, but you're going to probably see the rankings drop for Catalina Foothills.
Yeah. And it won't
Anything
get easier next week.
it won't get easier next week. Yeah, because I mean, the hard thing here for Catalina Foothills, and I'll let you comment more on the Combs side of it all. But the for Catalina Foothills, what's really going to hurt here is Yuma Catholic's going to be strong. Buena's coming off strong. Push Ridge did really well this weekend too. Tucson
And
High's
they
done huh?
and beat them last year.
Right,
Pushers.
right. Tucson High is looking, good right now as well. Um, Saguaro, you know, I don't know as if necessarily Saguaro or like right now I'm kind of in the confusion between does Saguaro look really good or is Sabino kind of going this way kind of thing. So I'm kind of curious how that one will go. That's still going to be one of the games that you're going to want to watch on that. Um, CDO, as we'll talk about them here. Yeah, so
It's
it,
a tough schedule. Really,
it's a tough
that's why you
schedule,
see 'em in
guys.
the green at the bottom there on strength of schedule.
Yeah, I mean,
Very tough.
you see the strength of schedule, right? Exactly. Good. I mean, prediction, we were wrong, but hey, um, I mean,
Hey,
me, you, and Rodney were right. I
uh,
believe we had that
yeah, I
game
think we.
swinging that way.
So for this one, actually, you two were right. I was wrong.
Oh, you were the loser.
I was the one who did
Wah, wah,
pick
wah,
Carolina.
wah.
And that's just because of I didn't know how young Combs was going to be coming into this year. They were a team that had many of their seniors last year on injured reserve early on in the season.
Right.
I think coming into that Eastmark game, already had 3 seniors on injured reserve. So
What was the final score on this one? It was close too, right?
28-21.
See, and these were good games, guys. Get out and go watch some of these games. Going over to the CDO game, which we were just briefly kind of touching base on. This is gonna hurt, guys. I hate to sound like this. This is your Catalina Foothill game. That's gonna hurt the Keno region. The CDO game is gonna hurt the CDO region. I mean the Keno region. Um, this helped out obviously Eastmark. Eastmark's gonna probably move up a little bit. It's not a huge blow because they are kind of ranked kind of close, but I mean, not a good thing. Like, but it was a close game once again. What was the score on that one?
Uh,
You know,
12-3.
12-3. I mean,
Mhm.
very low scoring game, which typically you see with CDO because they do a lot of running, rushing, not necessarily passing. So I can see how this game was kind of slow. A lot of trench running more than anything else.
And it's finding your new stars on the team,
Right,
in that backfield, trying
right.
to figure out who's going to be the guy to kind of take over what was done last year. I mean,
Yeah,
like I said, I think I went to 2 CDO games last year.
hard shoes to fill, bro.
Oh man, it's definitely tough to replace those seniors from
It's
last year.
hard to replace a state championship team. It just
Exactly.
is. It's hard. Um, so what you will see here, obviously, the strength of schedule right now, I think, will maybe move up a little bit
Hmm.
for CDO, but you're going to see the rankings drop, where you might see these two maybe even flip flop,
Probably.
probably kind of thing.
Right.
Um, going into the next one, we don't the great part about us doing this show here is we're actually talking about a lot of teams that just don't get talked about, you know. For example, we wouldn't typically talk about a Sierra Linda Empire game, but Empire's win over Sierra Linda was huge. Why? Because once again, they're going to push up that Sonoran region, and get their strength of schedule amongst the group of the
Hmm.
the program and move it up, which is a positive. And that's also been one of their Achilles heel.
The
Huh?
4A Gila,
Ray
right?
Gila, my bad. Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
I get all that stuff mixed up, man. Well,
No worries.
but
Same
I
here.
appreciate you finding and catching me. Um, this was also one of the Empire's Achilles heel teams. For the last 3 years, they just haven't been able to get the upper hand on it. So this was a huge win for Empire, um, for them to roll.
14-72.
Yeah, and actually, to tell you the truth, I was out at this game. There's some things that Empire needs to do to tighten up it, but there should have been more points on the board. But woulda, coulda, shouldas don't always make freaking wins or losses, so I don't like to always include them. But hey, tighten it up, guys, and get that La Jolla game this next week. As you can see, you'll probably see Empire get moved up a little bit. I don't
Mhm.
believe La Jolla had a win this week, so they'll probably stay around the same or something like that. So we'll see. This is gonna
But
be
those
this.
are but those are the gimmies you
Dude,
talked about, though. You gotta get those ones in
gotta
order
get them.
to. Yeah.
Gotta get them, bro. I'm right there with you. But at least it was good to see that our community jumped up and supported our Empire team. So good to see that with the 70,
Everybody won across the board there. All 4 of us.
right? We
Yeah.
all did good there. Um, Here's
Big
one where the community didn't support him, but you know what? They showed us wrong,
Yep.
and maybe they showed you guys wrong, but I had them. I had Rincon this game. I was like, this is it.
You
And I
and
believe you did too, right?
you and Rodney. You and
Me and
Rodney.
Rodney. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I didn't gap away from Rodney on this one. I thought it was going to. Both of these
18-16 was the final on this
yeah,
one. So
like
good game.
great game, man. Good for Rincon, guys. I'm swear to God, this is great for them. One thing I'll say is, as you can see, obviously their rankings, they're both in the lower third of the 4A division, as well as their strength of schedule. So these guys are just in that development, like trying to push up, get things going. And this is why it's important that they're playing the schedules they are, is get some wins, get some kids to participate, jump into the program and start building. And is this a green? No, guys, like, I mean, like I see people, and sometimes what they'll see is they'll say, oh, well, we won this, we won that. You're not playing in that category. Like there's certain things, and I don't mean to say this to be ugly or anything like that. It's these schedules and these groupings and regions are kind of designed to help build these programs rather than what it had been in the past, where it's just a team, for example, could go, so many years at like maybe 8% victories. And we're trying to get away from that. And I appreciate the AIA for kind of addressing that, even though I wish they would go to yearly blocks instead of the 2-year block.
2-year blocks, yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of it, but big kudos here. There could be the chance here. I mean, we see that Rincon is going to jump up in its rankings. They're going to go up a little. Okay, I don't know how much.
Home game too.
And then they got Palo Verde, so they could start their season out 2-0 really quick. And there could be some other wins in here that we didn't give them credit for.
Well, I was gonna say, so
I think I only had them 2-8.
If they do pick up that win, so they've already gotten their one win from me
Right.
that I had this year for them. And then
Having
we
a 2-8.
also, all three of us picked them to beat Palo Verde too.
Correct.
Just so you know, everybody has a heads up on that one.
Yeah.
But I'm looking down. We've seen a team like Choya, who
Right.
Copper Canyon. I don't think any of us had them, losing to Copper Canyon. Could that be a possibility there if we're going to throw another team?
It could be interesting. I mean,
it'd be a good game.
I mean, I think Balls and Choi is like, you look at, for example, Rincon, they just helped out the region. Unfortunately, with the loss over a Copper Canyon, that kind of hurt the region with Choi is on side. I really didn't want to make a slide for that or whatever. I'm trying to go more on the positive side than the negatives. But that impacts things. So Choya, we really do. I mean, I know coaches over there, and his first game. These guys kind of got to wake up and get going here. I don't know what the rest of their schedule is looking like, but
they got Maryville next week, so
that's a big game. That's a huge game now for them.
Yeah,
get that W against Maryville, guys. Swear to God, let's make it happen. I mean, we might make predictions, of win losses. Doesn't mean that we're not supporting the teams in our community, hoping the best for them. Like I'm cheering you guys on. Let's go.
I think it just more so are realistic outcomes for each team, because at the end of the day, somebody got to win, somebody got to lose. But
right.
You know what? I'm already in my region alone with the 3A Central. Santan Foothills 2-0. I think I had them going 2-8, and they've already got their 2 wins, or I 1-9. They already got their 2 wins. So you know what? It's easy to be wrong very early.
Oh, you talking about Santan Foothills, right?
Yeah.
I think he said Santa Cruz Valley.
Oh no.
Santa Cruz Valley.
I think I've been spot on right now. Yeah, I have
killing it. Way to go, guys!
Haven't given up a point all year already in 2 games. I think total almost 100 points in 2 games.
Great thing. Here's another one, guys. I'm excited for a program that has struggled since COVID hit. It's almost like it hasn't been able to shake the COVID funk, but here they go. They already start off with their first win of the season. Sahuarita over Alhambra. This is ranked 191. Once again, you see the Reds here. They're obviously in the lower thirds of the division, but it's important that they're digging this hole to get out of, or actually I should say digging out of their hole. So 191 beating 179 Alhambra. I think we all had it picked too.
Let me go take a look at this
including
one.
you guys in the poll.
We did
We all
another
had them
poll.
going this way.
The
So
people and us have
the
spoken.
people in a right on, man. Now, if we can pull off a W over, like I would say, hey, shoot for next week. Let's see where you guys are. Um, but there's some opportunities on this schedule. What do we have them going? Do you have our picks?
We have Saurita going 2-8, picking up wins against Alhambra and Rincon. But
Oh, ooh,
now
that
you
Rincon.
throw
I mean,
into the you throw in that game. That's going to be a good game. You got the Choya game. That could be a good game now.
right.
I mean,
I'm
that's
gonna,
the
you know
one.
what?
But see, if we go back to the episode, this was a team that I had talked about that could throw a wrench into
Yep.
that whole mix, depending on how they started their season off.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, big win for Saurita there,
Hey,
43-6. I mean,
43 to
you
6.
yeah,
Oh,
43 to
wow.
6.
Right on. Right on. Which I'll be posting here. Got all this, and if you guys can, I do post up on our Facebook page our actual website that we started up. It's
Mhm.
still obviously in the developments, but you can get in there and we do cover a lot of this stuff. So it's huge. Just go check it out. I'll tag in the link on the bottom of this once we're done here too as well. Here was another big one. Um, Close game, but I think I even talked about it earlier. Is Saguaro getting better, or Sabino just having a development year? They obviously are young. They have a lot of kids coming out, going into different, you know, they lost a lot of their studs last year and so on. So, it's once again, it's always hard to replace a state championship team. So we'll see how this one goes. But I mean, this was a huge win for Saguaro. What do you see on this one at all, if you do?
15-14 was the final. Jamero Webb, running back, rushed for 109 yards and 1 touchdown. So then I believe we also had another run on the ground by Isaac Lugo. Don't really have anything yet for Sabino as far as what they did, but like you said, this game always went in favor of Sabino over the past few seasons. And so, I know for Saguaro to get a victory finally over him, it's definitely gives a boost of confidence.
Right. This also makes, I mean, some of their games really interesting to look at too, as well. I do get a question here by Roger Gray. He's like, my question is, why not cover the Mountain View game? Just curious on how you guys picked that game. Um, the reason why I didn't do this, and actually, I had mentioned it while I was actually setting this all up with Daniels, and maybe I should thrown it in, is prior to the week, actually on the 27 Max Preps had Mountain View winning over Gilbert. That's who they were playing, right? Or Glendale. Gilbert,
Yeah.
right? Gotcha. Gilbert was the reason why I didn't do it is because it was predicted to kind of go that way, even though we picked it wrong. I
Mhm.
believe we picked Gilbert to win. So I mean that's an amazing win for Mountain View. Um, I I should have kind of threw it in there, but what I was going over when I was setting this all up was what offsets did Max Preps do, and that's why I didn't address it. It's not that I don't think that was a great win. That's a huge win.
Mhm.
And once again, I think I even said when we were going over one of the Sonoran teams is that that win is going to help, boost up the rank, the strength of the region as well. So I kind of touched based on it a little bit, not really giving it maybe the attention that it deserved because that was a huge game. And I don't mean uh, to kind of filter over that. It's a great game. Honestly, it was. Big win for Mountain View over Gilbert. But just as it was coming into that week on the 27th, they did have Mountain View ranked higher. So we're kind of doing more of the Max Preps upsets. But good point. Thank you for bringing it up.
Either way it goes, it's a big win for
Big win.
Mountain View because we always talk about their first half of the schedule where it kind of gets
Huge.
a little tough right at the beginning, right out the gate. Those first 4 games. So I
Yeah, I
know that.
mean, yeah, you're right. Matt Johnson loves to do that. Pile it on thick, and finish. Pile it on hard at the very beginning, and then see how strong you are at the end. That's just what he does. So great win for Mountain View on that, you know, and
Oh
also
no,
go ahead.
oh Nicole, no, Nicole said Rodney didn't have Mountain View losing. That he's the only one who picked Mountain View, but he didn't. I'm
He,
looking at
yeah,
and
he didn't.
all three of us picked Gilbert to win.
Don't let Rodney lie to you on this. He did not. Go back, watch the show. He
Yeah, they,
picked Mountain View to lose to Gilbert. That was one of his losses.
he actually, yeah, it didn't look pretty the first four, but either way, yeah, that just to clarify that one.
Yeah.
But
Don't let him uphand you.
I think what like going forward for both Saguaro and Sabino, which one do you think is it a bigger win for Saguaro or a bigger loss for Sabino?
I think Saguaro needed the win to confirm that, hey, look, Coach Al and everything are these are our kids now. We're starting to get into our kind of time. I think Sabino can kind of bounce back from it. I mean, McBrayer is just a solid coach. I mean, just saw him on Saturday. Um, and their kids are young. I mean, like I said, you're coming behind some of these like a state winning championship team. You know, it's difficult to just keep reloading at a program that has the enrollment of Sabino. So I mean, uh, I I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's going to be an interesting thing to see here. I'll look at Sabino and how they do with Safford will be my interesting thing.
The first one to kind of really see where they're tested at.
Right, right. I don't see Chrisman being a problem at all. They should have that one. Micah Mountains was dominant. It was too much for him last year with all the kids that they had. Safford now becomes the game that I'd be like, okay, well, let's watch that. Kind of like the Safford, the Push Ridge, see where they are with Morenci, those kind of games.
And I'm interested to see like another game in that region. Thatcher beat Chrisman 15-0. I don't know if it's a game. I know
Yeah, it was weird,
Chrisman didn't have their quarterback starting that game. I think he was out with the injury.
right?
So I'm wondering if they kind of
Just being
allowed
nice.
they're allowed some other players to play in that game just
Right.
because it's something. I mean, on paper you would probably expect it to be a
Off the charts.
dominating game, yeah,
Yeah.
for Thatcher. But interesting to see what went on that game. So I'm hoping somebody can let us know how that one played out.
Might have to call coach on that one.
Yeah. So
We might have to call a friend. You know,
yeah.
either way, great. I mean,
And then you got Mario Reyes. What's up, fellas? And Jacob was it Bonilla? He said, I guess Rodney didn't throw the right dart for that game. So, yeah, just a little chiming
look,
in on.
man, we anytime y'all want to poke at Rodney, I'm okay with it.
Oh,
You know,
we're all
we're
game
all
for
good
that
with
one.
it. You know, he's all over here like F you. Guys, we're having fun with it. That's what it is. Like, and sometimes Rodney will go against the grain with us just to do it.
Hmm.
Because like it wouldn't be much fun if we were all picking exactly the same team. So I can get that
It's
too.
just unfortunate when it actually goes in his favor.
Right. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it sucks. Like we have to sit there and listen about that Marana South Point game
Oh
for the
man.
next 3 weeks, probably. Good
Yep.
Lord. Um, so this one here was a big upset.
Yeah.
You know, this I mean, you get ranked number 69, knocking off number 54, Valley Christian, who was a legit beast last year.
Hmm.
They didn't win the region though. That was who was it?
Was it Paradise Honors?
Who won? Who won? 3A. Oh no, that was South. What are we in
Oh,
4A or no 3A? So it's Sabino. What am I talking about?
oh, I thought you meant the region. The division, yeah, Sabino won that one.
Right. I'm slow, man. Slow. It's been one of those days. It was a hot day out there at Pueblo Pueblo yesterday. My brain is still fried. So yeah, this is a huge one. I mean, as you can look here, Valley Christians, actually what's going to happen, you're going to see Valley Christians ranking drop a little bit, probably not much. They're going to still be in the green. But their strength of schedule is going to go up,
Yeah.
possibly depending on how the rest of it went. But that's going to help Florence kind of help push them up because their ranking is going to change. But you can
Yeah.
also see how the strength of schedule is actually in Florence's favor. I mean, this was one of the strongest. It actually was the strongest team on their schedule.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance now Florence is going to see maybe a 10-0 season.
It all come down to that last game against ALA Ironwood. I
Yep.
already say that one.
Yep.
Unless they have a hiccup. I mean, I won't throw it
Benjamin
out
Franklin.
question. The Santan Foothills game, I mean, I will still give Florence a big edge in that one, but at the same time, they've been upsetted before by Santan Foothills just a couple years ago, and
Okay.
I know that Santan Foothills is
Well,
that team that is embracing all the picks that we had for them this year
Right.
and running with it. But
Shame
I
on me
mean,
because there's a couple games in here. Safford could be interesting. Benjamin Franklin could be interesting. I take it all back. You know what? Don't sleep. Play your real stuff, Florence. Go hard. There you go.
well, I think if you look at it with that game, that was actually our broadcast, our game of the week there.
Right.
And you could just tell that Florence is in a different groove as far as focus this year. You
Mhm.
know, they're really definitely this was their start of everything for them because they lost to Valley Christian at NAU last year by 3 points. And then I think when you totaled it all up, their strength of schedule wasn't that strong. So they constantly the past 2 years have been playing middle of the pack as far as their bracket. So
Right.
they're playing 8 and 9, 7 and somewhere in the middle of their rankings, and they're playing tough competition. So I think that this is going to help boost them, especially if they can pick up a game against Ben Franklin and
Mhm.
ALA Ironwood. You might see finally Florence be able to crack that top 5 and maybe get out of that first round,
I
because
think
that's the
what's
big thing I had for them is that's the goal.
I think another thing that's going to probably hurt them with their strength of schedule is that
Yeah.
Coolidge package is going to kind of unfortunately hurt,
Yeah.
push it down a little bit. 'Cause, I mean, and if Chrisman can't pull it up too, because those are both region teams.
Mm-hmm.
So jumping into the next one here, this is game number 12. We got Safford versus Pima. Guys, if you know anything about Pima, Pima has been ranked the dominant two-way program for the past couple of years, making it to the playoffs back to back. And I'll tell you what, like ranked 67th coming into this, having a team who had just struggled with pace in the week before. This was a huge win for Safford to push them back up and to show exactly why the 3A South is probably the hands down the strongest region in
Mm-hmm.
in all the land. Ooh.
14-7 victory. So, to hold a team like Pima to only 7 points, you got to love it.
And
And
you know what? This is a one that we all picked them to lose, right? Or meaning Safford,
yeah, we
and
so let me just double check.
right.
I don't
And here we
I don't
go.
want
Look at
Rodney
this. Our voters knew
upset.
best.
So this game right here we had oh, okay. We had me and you picking Pima and Rodney picking Safford. So I know I'm gonna hear some more of it from Rodney.
Here
He
comes
had
Rodney.
mm-hmm.
Here comes the
So, but
Rodney.
but like I said, big win for Safford because I think we had them near the bottom of their the 3A South.
Right.
So they probably be that team that can play spoilers this year.
Yeah.
And
I
if
mean,
not, maybe even make a run at the region title, depending on how Thatcher and Pushridge been playing.
I mean, you just sleep on certain teams, and then next thing
Yeah.
you know, it's like, hey, I'm here. Guess what? Um, let's see here. Nope, not the last one, but we have a game that most of us probably would have never even thought about, or even talked about, for that matter. It doesn't help our southern, two-way San Pedro, but it does help the two-way Salt, which is Daniel's region here, where NFL Yet comes in ranked at 205, beating out Catalina 207, which curious how that happened because I believed it was a different way around.
So
Oh,
coming in, Catalina was at the beginning of the year 208, and then NFL Yet was 210, but
it
Catalina
switched for
lost
me.
to Highland. Yeah, Catalina lost to Highland where
Well, now I screw up because I said I should have thrown the Mountain View one in, which I should at this point. This is the same situation, so I apologize. Um,
just go give
but
a little kudos to NFL Yet then, because
yeah,
I can't tell you when's I know the last time they won a football game.
Oh, good
So
for good.
that's the only good. Yeah.
Congratulations for NFL yet for winning. Um, come on, Catalina. Let's go. I mean, this is where a question I might throw out at you is that with a realignment, would you want to as a two-way team? And I'll say this: winning a championship, is that better than being in a region where it's? I mean, I don't like the 10-0 concept. I'm more of a 5-5, 6-4, 7-3 kind of guy, right?
Hmm.
Um, or 6-4, 4-6 kind of guy. Because I feel you're playing competition on a week to week that holds value.
Hmm.
Um, I hate seeing dominant teams. Like I think, for example, NFL yet Catalina should be in their own region together,
Yeah.
or teams like
I
that. Throw Santa
I would
Rita in
probably
it.
throw in an ALA Anthem South as well.
Yeah, Santa Rita, and clear that all out so you can have, like maybe that's what they need to do in 2A, because it's just hard when you have teams like, Catalina and Santa Rita and all this kind of weighing you down, killing
Hmm.
your strength of schedule for you to get playoff opportunities. When your teams like, for example, Bisbee, Benson, stuff like that in that same region. The same problem goes for a lot of these different regions.
Well, I think even for if you look at the 2A Black, I mean where Pima's at. I mean you're
Right,
playing ALA Anthem South. I'll just say I think even St. John Paul II is in there, if I'm not mistaken. I know St. Carlos is,
right,
but those are to me like teams that Pima's gonna dominate year in and year out. And I know the travel thing is the biggest concern, but you look into the 4A Desert Sky or 4A East Sky, excuse me, where Snowflake is traveling down to Post and Butte, Apache Junction
mhm.
multiple times in those regions. So the travel it can't matter for one team over the other, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, there's just things you just want to see, like where you're playing against the peers, so you can see, like for example, what we're talking about with the Gila and what we're talking about the Sonora, and how these teams are finally winning and feeling some type of way about stuff. Whereas most of the time, in the lower, you still got the bad is just sitting there dwelling in their sorrow all the damn time, pretty much, is
Yeah.
because like they can't get a break. One of those other wins that came up here, which was a shocker amongst the lower half of the 2A, the lower third. Um, you got Rincon or dude, Rincon. I'm looking at ranking. Valley Lutheran, ranked 202. They get upset by Sequoia Pathway, who hasn't won a game in what, 2 years?
Didn't have a season
Didn't even have to,
last year.
right,
I think after 4 games. The year prior, they did yeah, because I think Donnie, left last season. So
no,
the year
oh,
before it, they had a
okay,
5-5 year, I wanna say.
gotcha,
But it wasn't up to the standards. That was what Donnie had built over there at Sequoia Pathway. I know
right,
that for sure. They did have the passing of one of their players, which was really tough on the team that year.
right.
But to battle, from only having 4 games last year, most of those kids not bought into the program,
Was that
and
last
then
year or the year before that?
it was 2 years ago because
Right,
yeah, we always get the notifications and stuff like that when we were out at Sequoia Pathway.
right.
So I wanna say, 2 years ago, they went like 4 5-5, I wanna say. But then, Donnie didn't return at the end of the year, and, that's when,
Gotcha.
they had a replacement coach and AD, but, I mean, Coach Payne, we
Coach
got these
Payne.
guys got these guys together 48-0. I
Right.
mean how better can you start the resurgence of a program than by having a dominant victory like that?
I'm really excited to see where that one goes. I mean, once again, I think a lot of us all predicted, I think across the board, all of us picked Valley Lutheran on this one.
Mhm.
So it's really important to kind of see Sequoia Pathway have a bright, shining moment. And like you said, I mean, this could be a good turn for them. I mean, they still have a real strong schedule when you look at 3A football. Obviously, theirs
Yeah.
being one of the top tier when it comes to strength. But like, wherever they can get it here. I mean, I'll cheer them on, and we'll kind of keep watching that thing go too. Was there any teams like that you guys would really like us kind of touch base on here? So my man did chime in. Was there any comments that we're kind of missing here? I did hear somebody. I'm going to go back to Flowing Wells only because my man said
Oh, go
they are
for it.
going to go 2-0 at Flowing Wells. So let's go 5.
Ruben Hernandez, yep.
Yeah, Coach Ruben Hernandez. I think he's.
And then, of course, Rodney had to let Nicole know that he has Mountain View going 6-4 while we have him going 5-5.
See, he's trying to see, that's like putting a bow on a car that just been in an accident. You can't do that.
But yeah, I think trying to think of some other games that were. Oh, well, I mean, if you want to touch on a big win for a program, Vista Grande beating Coconino.
Yeah.
Coconino. I knew from the get go it was going to be a tough game for Vista Grande,
Right.
because from the last couple years when they've come down to play Poston Butte, Apache Junction, it's always been a tough game for
Nice.
whoever Coconino faces. So for them to battle back and win at the end there, that was a big game.
Big kudos, guys. Big kudos on that stuff. Another thing here, obviously, I'm going to touch base on your Sunnyside Flowing Wells game there, sir, our coach, is I'm interested to see how you guys do. I really am. I mean, do I think you're going to get that over Sunnyside? I think that's a little bit kind of stretch. I mean, obviously, you being a part of the program, I wouldn't expect you to say anything less, and you shouldn't. And by all means, let us be the bad guys. I don't have a problem with it. But I'm still, to me, if this can be an exciting game, that's a win.
Mm-hmm.
If you take it, by all means, like I'll be the first one to clap and stuff like that, or whatever. But you'll be back on our show again while we wrap up next week. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that would be a great win.
Oh man, it would definitely shape up that 5A Sonoran region.
Right?
Like, yeah, that would be a huge win.
Got to win them, guys. You got to win them. So I mean, we're looking at these regions and stuff like that. I'm really excited to see where the rankings are going to come out and where we're going to be kind of lined up. But I mean, just go and recap real quick over everything. Not necessarily on our show. Big win, obviously. Buena over Betty Fairfax. That was a huge win. Dominant, even though it was predicted from the ranking state, but it was a big, solid, confident win for them to get ready for Ironwood Ridge next week. Let's see here. Obviously, we talked about the Casa Grande game. Cienega, Desert View. Desert View struggled with Willow Canyon. I'm hoping you guys can kind of bounce back here with North next week. We'll see how that goes. Marana is over at Tucson High. That's going to be, Tucson High. Let's see what you got here. I mean, you guys have been talking about it. Let's see what you got. You're going to go up to Marana. It's going to be a good game there. Ironwood Ridge versus Buena, just talked about that one. That Maricopa versus Trevor Brown. That's going to be an interesting game. What do you think?
Yeah, I got to see actually Trevor Brown on Thursday with Epic Sports Network, and man, them and Ironwood, very good game. Low scoring affair, but came down to Trevor Brown pretty much was on the 1 yard line, getting ready to tie up the ball game, and got a false start penalty, dropped him back 5 yards, and just couldn't convert when time expired. So
discipline, guys, discipline.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question: who do you think? Now we picked Maricopa to win that game. Do you stay with that, being that you watched Trevor Brown?
Yeah, because you know what, I was still, despite the score and the outcome against McClintock, I still think that Maricopa is trending in the right direction. I'm just interested to see. It's probably gonna, I'd say, come down to Maricopa's offense and Trevor Brown's defense. That is going to be the key to the game, because I think a lot rides on the offense of Maricopa, where a couple years ago it was their defense kind of keeping them in the game. So,
and then just kind of touching up on some other games that might be close ones. Just looking, nothing rest there. Going over to 4A. If you guys got any games that you'd like us to talk about real quickly before we get off here, just go ahead and drop them in.
I got one.
Yeah, go
Push
ahead.
Ridge at Ben Franklin.
Yo, that's going to be a hell of a game, bro. That's
Yeah,
going to be a good game.
you know, I mean, the thing is when you look at Ben Franklin's two games are against young teams,
Right.
and they pretty much uh, dominated those games. Now they're getting ready to play a team that could possibly give them a run for their money, and so that's going to be a really good one there.
Micah Mountain versus Mesquite might be an interesting game to kind of watch, just to
Mhm.
kind of pay attention to it. Let's see here. Vista
Oh,
Grande.
you got Pueblo, yeah, Pueblo
Yeah, the
Vista.
Vista Grande Pueblo game. That's going to be a good one. They always do well, kind of like battling with each other. And it's going to be at Vista Grande this year. So you're not covering any. Are you covering it?
Yeah, we'll be out there on Friday
So you'll be
for that.
streaming that one.
We'll be streaming that one on the SoAZ
Ooh,
VB network. So
what?
if you guys want to tune into that one, we'll be out there, and I'm hoping, crossing fingers, we got the Wi-Fi issue fixed, because I
Yeah.
know when we did the game last year, we ended up having a storm hover over us out at Pueblo that kind
Right.
of messed up the reception. But yeah, hopefully those things are all ironed out for this upcoming
Yeah.
Friday.
Guys, I mean, I don't think you guys understand that aspect of it all. I really do wish, and if you guys ever do, Daniel and them do a hell of a job when it comes to streaming the games. I helped out a lot more last year. Obviously, getting around transportation wise is a little harder for me this year. But I will say this, you know, check them out. Be patient with the Wi-Fi situation when it comes down to certain schools, and be,
Hmm.
forgiving on this, because a lot of times for them to stream, they got to have a good solid Wi-Fi connection, and you know, we do this on a free budget, so any kind of thing you can do to help out or contribute if you want to. But yes, definitely go check out. We'll post it up there as well there. So you can watch that game if you guys are a part of the Pueblo or Vista Grande family, or just want to watch the game.
Yeah.
Here, would you go? Nope, not that one, not that one. Actually, Maricopa, or not Maricopa, but Marcos Deniza versus McClintock could be an interesting game.
That'd be a good one.
Uh, uh, Snowflake Cactus could be an interesting one.
Well,
Might it be?
and then this Friday, you have the oldest rivalry in the state of
Oh,
Arizona, Douglas at Bisbee.
yeah. Let me just throw them out there, man. Let's see what
Hey, you know,
that.
I think so on that one, Chris and Chris and I have Douglas picking it up while Rodney's going with Bisbee. So
Yeah, yeah. Um, Amphi Independence. That's going to be a good one. Choya, we'll go with Choya Maryville. That's an important game. We talked about, you just hit that one up. That La Jolla Community Empire game. That's big for that region. Um, Big for the region. Obviously, we said the Rincon Palo Verde. I'll skip the
Catcher at Valley Christian. That'll
yeah.
be a big one. That's a playoff game right there, 3A.
I'm curious how Sabanita and Desert Valley might be after that win. So we'll see. I don't think they're gonna go up too far.
Hmm.
They got Sabanita ranked higher than Alhambra. Did I skip on that one too? What the crap am I doing? Guys, I'm sleeping. Hate
No,
Chris.
well, I think beforehand, Alhambra was ranked higher.
Well, yeah, true, but I mean, if I'm updating everything on the 27th, I mean to make sure everybody's updated correctly. So if that's on me, that's on me. Um, Bradshaw Mountain CDO could become more of an important game. Just interesting stuff, man. I'll tell you that.
Santan Charter and Santan Foothills, both 2-0 teams. So,
Okay.
and I hear good things about Santan Charter and their new quarterback switching from wide receiver to quarterback. So he
Did you
had a big
just,
game against Scottsdale Christian.
all right, so you talking 3A. Go over your 3A Central. What's the big games there? Go ahead and look at them.
Oh, the 3A Central.
Mm-hmm.
So we have ALA Ironwood and Gilbert Christian will be a good one.
Right.
Um, and Santan Foothills and Santan Charter.
Mm.
And then we have Florence at Safford.
Yeah,
So
you took that thunder out of me right there. That Valley Christian Thatcher one, you took that one, right?
uh-huh.
Uh, I'm interested how Benson and Morency, but Morency they're doing all right still. What do we got for 2A? Let's slide over there. You do the Sol, I'll do the San Pedro here.
Okay.
Let's see here. The Bisbee Douglas, already talked about that one. ALA Anthem. If hey Catalina, if you're gonna pull off a W, you better do it. Say it right there. Pull it off.
Not really too much in the two-way salt. A lot of uh big gaps between the teams.
Gotcha.
If I'm gonna throw one out there, you know what? I'm interested to see NFL yet and Madison Highland, I guess, if I'm just gonna throw two
Okay.
random teams out there. The rest of them are kind of they might lean more one-sided. But with the big win from Sequoia Pathway going up against Veritas Prep. So that's another tough opponent for Sequoia Pathway, but we'll see how they play.
Like I said, I mean, it's going to be over for the San Pedro, the 2A San Pedro. Big games that I think need to happen for them is Catalina has to be ALA Anthem, bring some value to help out the region there. I'll say once again there too, the Palo Verde over Rincon game that has to happen. In this case, Palo Verde, you got to win this one. I know we were kind of chanting for Rincon just a moment ago, but vice versa over here, you guys got to bring that win. Santa Rita over San Pascal, that's huge. If they can get that win, that could do something for them.
I'm interested to see that game.
Yeah, well, I'm not interested to see it, but I'm interested to see the results.
See how it plays out. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I know that sounds probably very horrible of me to say, but I'm just being honest. Good. Let me go for it, guys. Let's go. Other than that, I mean, anything else? What are we doing?
I think if anything, the only thing I got going on, top 10 Tuesdays. So if you got a play that you might think can crack our top 10 plays of the week, please send them to the varsity breakdown 21 at gmail.com. You can find also, I think, more information on our website a little bit on how to send over your stuff, your plays. And yeah, I'm interested to kind of go through those clips and see how that's going to go.
All right. Who do you got this weekend? Where are you going to be?
This weekend, so this week I'll be at the Vista Grande game.
The Vista Grande Pueblo. Gotcha.
Yeah, Vista Grande Pueblo. Thursday, I think with the Epic Sports Network, we're going to be out in Tempe. So we'll see how that one goes.
All right. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm not too sure who's Tempe's playing as well. So, but anywhere you're going?
So Rodney's going to be over at the Walden Grove at Arcadia game, so that's where he'll be. I'm going to be over at. I think I'm going to the Ironwood Ridge Buena game. I might actually drive down to Buena. So anybody want to donate to Chris's gas tank? Damn. The other one I wanted to go see. Wow, I really need gas money. Guys, donate to Chris's gas fund because I really wanted to kind of check out the Glendale Rio Rico game. Which is down in Rio Rico, and then I was going to turn around and watch the Ironwood Ridge Buena game. So donate to Chris. Help Chris get along.
Is that a Thursday game and then
Thursday and Friday?
Thursday and Friday.
Yeah. So be excited and exciting to watch that. So Rio Rico. Yeah. What are you doing Thursday? You want to go to Rio Rico?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'll be down in Tempe.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Never mind. I apologize.
Yeah.
That's right. You got the Thursday stuff you do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll see guys, I try to get out to as many different teams as I can see. And I think that kind of like Daniel does the same thing, but more so because he's streaming the games, which is different.
Well, make sure we'll see if you can make it down to my neck of the woods, because not this Friday, but next Friday, Empire versus Ironwood Ridge.
I got that one on here.
Yeah.
Got this on there. So that was one of the ones. Oh no, I apologize. I don't have that one on there because I know you're over there streaming that game. So anybody over at Ironwood Ridge, make sure y'all chime into that one. Where I'm going to be at. So this might because I was going to go see the Ironwood Ridge. The whole purpose of me going down to Buena was see Ironwood Ridge because I was going to go to Buena versus Catfoot on the 13th. That was going to be the game that I was going to go check out. Because Rodney's coming down to go to Buena versus Catfoot. So we were going to go hit that one up together and get booed by the Catalina Foothills fans for not believing in it. Like they were going to boo us. I think I'll wear a Donald Trump mask or something so people don't boo me.
That might even get you a little more there, bud.
It just depends on what neighborhood you're in. Like
yeah,
it was a joke in the first place.
Well, hey, you know what? Rodney said he's filling up your tank. So
Rodney's gonna fill up the tank.
Hey, that's what he said.
Hey, I need food money too. And I was joking on the Donald Trump guys. Actually, I mean, never mind. I'm not gonna get on my political views.
Stop while you're ahead, Chris. Stop while you're ahead.
I'm not gonna go.
Oh man.
Because actually, probably everybody's getting the wrong assumption right now of me right now.
But no, I think either way it goes, it's gonna be great football coming up on Friday. So no matter who you support or where you're gonna be Friday, you can do us another favor, and that is to update us on these games, final scores, halftime scores.
Yeah.
Anything helps, for us to kind of, because unfortunately with Max Preps allowing anybody to keep score of the game, sometimes those scores aren't correct, and we don't want to read the wrong information if that's not the actual score going on.
Yeah, so guys, it's true. What happens is it's very difficult for us sometimes, especially in Southern Arizona, because we're not a community that tends to actually be informative with each other. We don't post things. We've hesitated. We've been slow on posting stats. We're slow on getting information. I don't know what it is. I mean, we still use the same internet as the Phoenix market does and everybody else, but we're really not like connected as much as we need to be as a community, which will help us all out. And by providing that information, you just help out, put it up there, and try to make sure that it's the most correct information that we can possibly get. That would be huge for us. And please encourage your schools to post rosters as well as stats. I'd really appreciate that. Anything else, man?
No, man. I think that's pretty much wrapped it up for this week. I'm excited to see some of these outcomes, big games going on. So whether it's a playoff potential game or just a game for a team to pick up a win, I mean, football is here, and I'm just excited every week about it.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been good to sit down and do these things. And once again, if you guys, I don't know if you understood what he was saying earlier, the top 10 Tuesdays, Daniel is taking your sons or whoever they are, the top 10 performance or plays of the week. He combines them, gets them all together, picks them, boom, 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 and reproduces them out on the show. The last show that you guys did, how many views did you guys get?
I want to say we almost are touching 500 views. So
500 views on YouTube. So I mean that's huge. I mean, like we can always say 500 views on like Facebook or Twitter is real quick. That doesn't take much.
It doesn't matter what market you're in. You don't have to be in Southern Arizona or Pinal County where I cover. It doesn't even have to be high school football. If there's any girls flag football, I know that's going to be going on. Send in your plays, because you know what? You never know what's going to be it's whatever I get. It's a list of whatever plays that are submitted to me. So whatever 10 that I can put together with what we have, the top 10 plays will be shown no matter who it is.
Now, are you doing youth football? Because you opened up that word like you said.
Youth football, you know what? Maybe we can see where it goes. We'll see
where it goes. If it's a play
that, if it's a play that is, ESPN worthy, best believe I'm gonna be doing it. And let me tell you, I even got stuff that people don't even know happen. I'm talking offensive linemen getting a little love. A lot of defense has been submitted. So just send what you have, and you never know where it will end up on the list. So,
and that's a true point. Thank you for bringing it up. Linemen, most of the time, parents, if you got a lineman in your house, one thing I would probably tell you to do is take a camera yourself and kind of zoom on them, and then enter the film or enter stuff that way. The unfortunate part about Huddle is that it has to do such a huge, broad, scene to kind of look at. Um, where do we send it? Hey, I'm gonna have you tell them in a second. Um,
Mhm.
the one thing with Lyman is because they screen so large, right? To get the full plays, your lineman typically gets lost in the sauce. So if you are a lineman like parent, take out your handy cam and head down to the and just record that way. Get that film on them and enter it that way. Do you want to go ahead, Daniel, and tell them where they can send it?
Yeah, so you could send it to our email address. It's the varsity breakdown 21 at gmail.com. And just include your player's name, their school, their position, and their graduation year. And, everything else, I'll kind of put it together. If it's a name that I might struggle with, you may get an email from me to just get a proper pronunciation of the last name or first name. So, yeah, I know Chris will probably type it in there for you
That's what I'm
guys.
trying to do.
And so, yeah, let's just have fun with it.
Did you
It
said
was
the
some
varsity breakdown 22? Is that what it was?
21, 21.
21.
Mhm. 21 at Gmail. And so, like, yeah, the reason I wanted to put it together is I feel like there's so many plays that I see on Instagram or Facebook that is only goes out to the people that follow you. And,
Right.
with a bigger platform, with what me and Chris do, we share it out. All of our content that we both produce, we like to share it out and allow multiple people to see where it is. We put it on different platforms. And yeah, it's just about having fun and getting a little bit more shine to these kids, because my whole focus with doing this, and Chris, I'm sure is the same way, is to bring more awareness that the Phoenix markets already get.
Right.
They're getting those people that are covering the Liberties, the Hamiltons, Chandlers. And you know what? We can't forget about the smaller schools or the schools out here in Southern Arizona as well.
Right. We try to be inclusive, like he's saying, this is our community. And
Mhm.
each school that impacts our community, such as when you look at the regions and we're talking about the Morencis, the Staffords, the tombstones and all that stuff, is that they have direct connection with our community through our regions. And it's we have to embrace it all and bring it all in. It's we could just sit here and talk about like Tucson schools, or stuff like that. But I don't think that would do the justice that I really think needs to happen, because we impact each other, meaning like a Bisbee can causes a ripple effect. I mean, you look at Bisbee's playing Douglas. Douglas plays, and you can get literally down to the team that you actually are playing if you do that kind of thing. So it's really cool to see like what we're trying to do, and to have Daniel jump up and say, "Hey, look, you know what? Let me do a top 10. We can kind of cover something interesting that way." That's cool to me, and that's why we've teamed up. And it's funny that until I met Daniel, I have driven to Phoenix probably hundreds of times, and I never stopped at Eloy. I never went to Coolidge. I never went to some of these places. So for us to team up with like the Pinal County guys, and this is like it makes a huge difference, I think. And honestly, I think it's something that actually makes certain communities jealous because they don't have it. Like when you hear people, for example, and I don't know how you feel about it, but I know like I've had guys chime in from like Yuma, and I've had some people, like from other places around the state. It's
Yeah,
like, hey
I,
man, why don't
yeah.
do you have a story like that?
Oh, all the time. I mean, a lot of, especially in the surrounding Pinal County area. So once you start getting out into uh, um, the edges of Pinal County into Gilbert,
Right.
I've gotten hit up by multiple Gilbert schools where it's like, when can you do a game for us? Or, why can't you guys do cover us in your broadcasts or your picks and stuff like that. So a lot of people see the different effects with it. And like we both said, it's a community based thing at first, and then everything else kind of falls in. And so take advantage of it, because like Chris says, we don't get paid for this. We still, I still have a 9 to 5 job. I still raise my kids, and have to do daddy duties, but at the same time I take time to give back to not only the community I grew up in, but now I'm slowly giving, my time to the Oro Valley Marana area, and I want to be able to do stuff for you guys as well. So
Right. Right.
yeah.
We appreciate it all, man. So yeah, guys, we just wanted to jump on, do something a little different, kind of hit up the teams and the teams that we felt have impacted this week, their regions the most, and upsets or whatever the case might be. We're always trying to do better. But other than that, we're gonna get out of here. And we appreciate you guys for chiming in and giving us a moment of your time. Okay. Y'all be good.